Hello, everybody. Hey, I realized the other day that I have not told the story of why I do what I do. Okay, so many of you know that the business of Grow by One has really been honestly growing by one day for many years now. We're about 15 years old. I've been a speaker, a trainer, a coach, a consultant, you name it. Basically, what I do is I go in and I help people figure out what they want and help them get it as quick as possible. So it might be an individual, it could be a group of people. Lately, I've been working more with very large organizations and even systems. So I just have a lot of fun doing that. So I haven't told the story of really the three things that really motivate me. And I thought, man, this would be a great opportunity. And wouldn't you know it, I found in my reading today that there was a quote that really kind of summed up the three things that I think about. So these are three things that guide my behavior. So anytime I'm developing a course or class or a book study or a membership group, I think about these three things. Now, I may or may not actually tell you what those three things are, but they are the guiding principles around what I'm trying to do in the world, okay? So I think it is important if you're going to follow my body of work that not only I tell you that, but that you know that, right? Okay, so I was actually reading in Maxwell Maltz today, so the book Psycho-Cybernetics. Again, it's one of my favorites. You do not have to read it, but if you're into science or thinking or mindset or success or reaching your goals at all, I would highly encourage you to do it. Psycho-Cybernetics, I absolutely love it. It's a bit sciencey, but it reads well, okay? So on page 66, he was talking about a doctor who had realized that, he says, the doctor realized recently that modern man's anxiety and insecurity stemmed from a lack of self-realization. So he kind of went on to explain what that means. But he said that self-realization is gained by a simple belief in one's own uniqueness as a human being, a sense of deep and wide awareness of all people and all things, and a feeling of constructive influencing of others through one's own personality. So really he's saying these three things help a person understand not only who they are, but how to change the world in a positive way. And as I read it, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, those are my three things. So the three things for me, I'll tell you what they are and then I'll explain them. Identity, oneness, and how to be a servant leader. Okay, so anybody who works with me, I don't care if you're listening to my podcast, you're watching this video, you're taking a course, anybody that comes to me, my first goal is to help you understand a little bit more about who you are, right? So I might challenge you and say, hey, listen, get to know yourself, right? Get to know your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. Understand, how you've come about life to get to this point. And really, think about your own unique strengths and your talents and your passion, your why, right? And as soon as you know that, then you can really connect with other people on a much deeper level. So that's where the oneness comes in. He says that it's a deep sense and wide awareness of all people and all things. And I interpret it as understanding that there's unity through diversity, right? I think when you first of all understand who you are and what you're about, you can connect with other people. So for example, I think about in my life, when I was in a people-pleasing state, the people I attracted to my life, guess what? Were the people who wanted to be pleased. And so, it was kind of a cycle. And as I grew in my awareness and my own identity and realized the strengths that I have inside me, all of a sudden I started to be attracted to other people, right? So the people in my life who basically say, Michelle, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? How are you building the business? How are you growing? What are you doing to invest in yourself, right? So I'm becoming one with people that I never would have become one with before. And as I'm growing myself, I'm realizing that every single person, I don't care who you are, I don't care how old you are, I don't care whatever label you choose to put on it, every single person in my life, I can find some sort of common ground with them, and I can build a relationship, a connection, and also they can teach me something, right? But you see, until I was really secure in myself as a person, I couldn't be united with other people. And then the last one, he says it's a feeling of constructive influencing of others through one's own personality. Gosh, what does that mean, right? It's this idea of being a servant leader. So understanding, if I know who I am and know what I'm about, know my strengths, know what I'm for, know what I'm against, if I have a connection and a unity and a common ground with others in my life, now my purpose becomes about serving other people, right? And not doing it like I used to do it in a people-pleasing sort of way, right? I'm going to do this for you because then you'll be happy. But making myself happy first, right? And understanding that there are people with great need in the world, and I have skills and abilities that I can help with that, right? So I think about just this week, having the opportunity to reach out to several friends who, unfortunately, through illness and then also an accident, have really struggled this week. They have family members going through some really tough times. And so being a servant leader, listen, they're not my customers, my clients, they're not paying me for my service, right? But I can be there and I can influence them in a positive way, okay? Or if I'm having a sales conversation and the person I'm talking to, sure, we're talking about how I'm going to come in and help their organization and how I can help them get a win. But even in that conversation, I can be a servant leader. I can serve and help that person understand a little bit about their identity, their oneness, and how they can serve their people better. So those are really the three guiding principles behind not only me as a person, but Grow by One. Maybe their values. I'm not so sure if they're values or not, but definitely guiding principles. To the point where in our mission and our vision and my own personal growth statement, that's one of the first things I have on there. I'm looking up on my sign right now, and it says, that we help people understand their identity, their oneness, and how to be a servant leader. Okay. Now, how we do that might change depending on what you need, because as a servant leader, you can, adjust what you do to help other people, right? But the why behind what we do are those three things. So if you are in need of any one of those three things, please, jump into our, we have all kinds of opportunities. If you're following us on social media, please, say hi, say, Michelle, I want to talk to you. You can always email us. And if you listen to the podcast, for sure, just, you can reach out at any time. Many of you do. And I just really thought this would be a good way to not only remind me about what I'm about, but to let you in on the secret of why I do what I do. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. With that, I release you into the wild. Go forth and prosper. Have an amazing day, and we'll catch you next time. All right. Bye-bye.